Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. We've got some fun Commander gameplay for you. Bruvak Mill, Goshintai Shrines, Aisi Landfall, and Imodane Direct Damage. I already rolled the dice. Bruvak is going first, to the detriment of everyone. So we'll get started. Draw a card, play a snow-covered island for turn, and nothing we can do, we're going to pass. Untap over here, upkeep, draw, play a forest. Tap that forest for a gorgeous, gorgeous soul ring, but that's all we can do, and we will pass turn. Good thing about a forest and soul ring on turn 1 for there, that means a turn 2 Shintai, so that's pretty cool. We're going to draw over here. I will play Blighted Woodland. Does not come in tapped, but you can pay 4 mana sacrifices to get 2 basics on the battlefield. We're going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. I'll play a forest over here, tap it for an also very cool looking soul ring. Different one, but still cool. We will pass. 2 turn 1 soul rings. This game is rigged. I mean, it's not, but it could be. Draw for turn. Play a snow-covered island. Tapping 2 for an Endless Atlas. Pay 2 and tap it to draw a card. Activate only if you have 3 or more lands with the same name. Going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play an island for turn. Tapping all 4 to play Goshintai of Life's Origin. It's a 3/4. When a Goshintai or another non-token shrine enters the battlefield under your control, make a 1/1 shrine creature token. And he says I can pay white, blue, black, red, and green, tap it to get a enchantment from your graveyard to the battlefield. That is all we can do. We'll pass. I always find it amusing. Now, of course, I'm saying this now, so it's going to jinx everything, but you can always tell whenever I start a new match because game 1 of the match is always the longest, and they get progressively shorter so that match 3 tends to be 50 minutes or less. And it's just funny because I'm not really doing that much differently, and they're my decks, especially these good ones that I play a lot. Well, I try to play a lot because they're my favorites. So it's not like it's some sort of thing where I'm magically playing them better each time. But I don't know, I guess because as I play them, I do tend to record matches all together as much as I can back to back. So I start playing them faster because this is like the 3rd match, and I've filmed 1 or 2 others today, so I'm just moving quicker because I'm trying to get it done. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play an island. No 2 drops, I will pass turn. Untap over here, upkeep, draw, play the mountain I just played, and tap all 4 mana for Imodane, the Pyro Hammer. 4/4. When an instant or sorcery spell that I control targets only 1 single creature and it deals damage to that creature, Imodane deals that much damage to each opponent. Pretty sweet that Imodane and Shrines got their commanders out before the 3-drop commander. That's pretty impressive. And of course before the 6 drops. That's no big deal. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw, play a snow-covered island. Tap all 3 for Bruvak, the Grandiloquent. A 1/4. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill twice that many instead. Something we picked up on last game. This is period. It's not just, I kind of was always under the assumption that it was like, since I'm the one playing mill, it means me. But it says if an opponent would mill a card. So any spells anyone else plays that causes someone to mill, that's one of my opponents, Bruvak doubles it anyway. So that was pretty fun. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play a mountain. Unfortunately, I'm not getting any good. I have a lot of lands and some instance that, can kind of help if something fun comes out. But, well, the only place I can even really safely swing is over there. I don't know that I really want to. Forgot the life totals again. Oh, sorry about that. I always come in, in a hurry to start. I want to play the game. This is the fun part. Playing these games is the best part of this channel for me. Editing sucks. Anyone that does any kind of editing knows it sucks. It takes forever to edit one of these videos. Playing is fun, so I want to jump in. I forgot the life total again. I don't think I'm going to attack. I know I should, but it just feels dumb. There's no reason to attack. I'm going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play a forest over here. I will tap 2 to explore. You may play an additional land this turn, and I draw a card. Cool, I'm going to draw. I'm going to play an additional forest. So that means we can get the commander out a turn early. That's something. But nothing I can do with 2 mana. We will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Play a mountain. Going to tap 2 mountains to play Wild Guess. As an additional cost, discard a card, then draw 2 cards. I'm going to take a risk and discard this mountain and draw 2 cards. Okay, I did not draw another mountain, so that's a thing. But then I will tap 3 and play Demon Bolt. I think we're going to bolt Bruvak. So it deals 4 damage to target creature or player. He costs too much more. He costs too much more to cast. 2 more mana to cast. However, 4 damage was dealt to a target creature, so Imodane is going to deal 4 damage to each opponent. We will then pass turn. Now, I could swing with Imodane, leaving myself open to Goshintai, and I don't think we want to, because an extra 4 damage could definitely speed up the game, who knows, but I don't think it's necessary right now. And maybe that's why some of my games don't go that well, or when I'm playing with friends, it doesn't go that well, because I'm not aggressive enough with attacking. Could be something I need to work on. Untap, upkeep, draw, play a snow-covered island. You know what? I'll just tap 2 and tap that to draw a card. And sure, I will tap 2 and play that Mind Crank I just drew. You tap it to put a charge counter on Grind Clock. Sorry, that was totally wrong. Grind Clock. Then tap it to, not then, or you can tap it and target player puts the top X cards of their library into the graveyard, where X is the number of charge counters on Grind Clock. So we'll tap it to put a single grind counter on it and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play a Swamp for turn, which is cool because we're getting all the colors we need. I will then tap, actually we'll tap green and that to play Herald of the Pathenon. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less, and when you cast an enchantment, you gain a life. We've seen this again from the prior games this session, but whatever. I have 4 mana, but nothing I can really do with it right now. I suppose we should go to combat, so we'll swing Goshintai at you, this little 1/1 at you. Pass turn. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw. I will play another island for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay, I'm only 1 ahead, that's why. Well, if that's the case, then let's speed up even more. Then again, so here's the thing. Obviously, you want lands to come in when IEC's out for the card draw, so that's when you cast Blighted Woodland. And I guess getting 2 basics out now isn't going to speed up the turn, because IEC would come out next turn anyway. Alright, so we'll do something else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And play Spore Mound. A 3/3 with Landfall. When land enters the battlefield under my control, create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. I will pass turn, and then Imodane will probably destroy that creature. Untap, upkeep, draw. Hey, a mountain. That's cool. Going to tap a red and Soul Ring to play Flick a Coin. Flick a Coin deals 1 damage to any target, and I create a treasure and I draw a card. So we draw a card. This cool little mini token thing will be the treasure, and I'm going to deal 1 damage to the Shrine token. Because it's instant and sorcery, dealt damage to a creature, Imodane's going to see it and deal a damage to each opponent. I still have 3 mana and a treasure, so that's 4 mana I can play with. Yeah, I guess we should. We're going to go ahead and tap 1, 2, and play this really cool looking Abrade. Choose 1. Abrade deals 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. Now there are some artifacts on the field that we could blow up, but we're going to go ahead and deal 3 damage to your Spore Mound, because we don't need you getting a million creature army. 3 damage was dealt, that means 1, 2, 3. Each opponent takes 3 damage. Imodane, taking the game early. I like it. We're going to pass turn. I gotta remember that this is technically a treasure. Untap, upkeep, draw. I will play the Snow-Covered Island, tap all 5 to recast Bruvak. I will then tap Grind Clock to make you mill the top 1 card of your library, but with Bruvak out, it'll be 2. 1 and 2. That's all we can do. We will pass turn. Untap over here, upkeep, draw. Wow, getting a ton of lands. I'm going to play Evolving Wilds, cracking it for a Plains, tapped, so that way we have all 5 colors we need, give us all possible options, and hopefully that bit of shuffling will get some enchantments to the top of the library here. Just to do something, we're going to tap a red and a green to play Artifact Mutation. Destroy target artifact, it can't be regenerated. Create X 1/1 green sapperling creature tokens where X is the artifact's converted mana cost. The best we can do is 2, unfortunately. I think we'll get rid of... I want to get rid of this, or the Soul Ring, so that slows you down. I think the Soul Ring, actually. While yes, milling is not good, the less mana they have to cast a bunch of blast spells, the better. And then I make a 1/1 green sapperling token. I have 4 mana left, but nothing I can do with it. No reason to attack, will pass. I mean, there is a reason to attack, but it's not. Only real person we can attack is someone that's not being a threat right now. 1, 2, untap, upkeep, draw. I will play Bark Channel Pathways, tap Blighted Woodland for a Soul Ring over here. We'll go ahead and tap green, blue, 1, 2, 3, 4 to cast IEC, Tyrant of the Gyre Strait. A 5/5. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. I do have an extra land. Haha, I'll play a command tower. That means I draw a card. You look at me go. But that's all we can do. We will pass. And Imodane has another target on the field. Going to tap 2 and play Trailblazer Boots. One of my favorites, but no. Swiftfoot Boots. Now, do I want to waste the 1 to equip it? I probably do not. Oh, we gotta play this. So we're gonna tap 2, sacrifice the treasure. A favorite card of mine, another one, Descent into Avernus. It's just a stupid fun card. Honestly, I recommend you put this in your red decks, just for the flavor and the fun of it. Descent into Avernus. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put 2 descent counters on Descent into Avernus. Then each player creates X treasures, and Descent into Avernus deals X damage to it, equal to X number of descent counters on it. It's basically a let's finish the game quickly card. Some people will try and get rid of it, but honestly, most people just laugh and think it's fun because you're just helping them. You're giving them a ton of treasures on every upkeep that gives them more options to play, and you're pinging everybody, including yourself, for a bunch of damage, so it just makes the game move a little quicker. Not necessarily a bad thing. Nothing else I can do, though. I'm going to go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play another snow-covered island. Going to tap 1 to play Overwhelmed Apprentice. Whenever Overwhelmed Apprentice enters the battlefield, each opponent puts the top 2 cards of their libraries into their graveyard, and then you scry 2. So first I'll go ahead and scry 2, put those both on the bottom, and then each opponent is going to mill 2, but that becomes 4 with Brewvac. A few decent hits, but nothing crazy special. We're going to go ahead and tap 4, play Icy Manipulator. Pay 1 and tap it to tap target artifact, creature, or land. No one's really attacking, but that's a good way to tap down someone's main source of damage against you if they're coming in. And then you can pay it at instant speed, so they go to, I'm going to move to combat. Boom, you pay it, tap down their biggest creature that they've been smacking you with. I'm going to go ahead and tap Grind Clock to just put another counter on it, and then pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play another swamp, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and play Joda's Codex. It has domain 5, so tap it and draw a card. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each basic land type among cards you control, or among lands you control. I have all 5, so it now just taps for nothing, and I draw a card. Whee! Okay, good. Not the colors I need. Or I don't have the colors I need to cast that, but it's something. Enchantment spells do cost 1 less, however that won't help this. And I do need to remember that I can play enchantments from my graveyard, so now that I'm being milled, that's actually a very viable option. I think we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana in order to cast Ashya, Soul of the Wild. Ashya's power and toughness are equal to the number of lands you control. Non-token creatures you control are forest lands in addition to their other types. So what that means is that every time I play a creature now, it counts as a forest land entering the battlefield, so that triggers Ayisi. Ashya is currently a 7/7, and when she entered, because non-token creatures you control are forest lands in addition to their other types, as it hits as it hits the battlefield, so Ayisi sees that, so I'm going to draw a card. Still not a land, which is unfortunate, but what we will do is tap 1, 2, 3, and play Grazing Gladeheart. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain 2 life. Now that I don't think it's coming in as a land, but I don't think it's going to see itself. However, Ayisi will see it as a land coming in, and I draw a card. Dang it, still not a land. But that's okay. This is, so technically, I forgot. This isn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It sees, as I just said, all creatures are forests in addition to their types. So that means Ashya is a 10/10. Pretty sweet. Well, I suppose we should get going. We're going to go to combat and swing Ayisi at you. It's a 5/5 commander. If you block, you will lose your commander. That's not good right now. That's all we can do. We're going to pass turn. Untap over here. Upkeep trigger. Going to put 2 descent counters on Descent into Avernus. Everyone gets 2 treasures, and everyone takes 2 damage. Now we draw a card for turn. That might be something we have to play. Going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play Scyther Claw Raptor. It's a 4/3. When a player casts a spell, if it's not their turn, Scyther Claw Raptor deals 4 damage to them. So that kind of tells blue players to shut up with their counter spells. I'm going to pay 1 and Swiftfoot Boots onto Imodane so that she now has hexproof. I have 2 treasures left. Nothing I really want to play with 2 treasures. Or can. So we're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I think we're going to get rid of the 2 treasures. Tap a land to play a Commander Sphere. Ooh, that's a good idea. Let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3 to play Gale Strike on Ayisi. Return target tapped creature to its owner's hand. I draw a card. So that goes back to the hand, so it doesn't get increased commander tax, which is nice. But we got the damn light fluctuating again. I apologize for that. I think it's the red. The camera doesn't like intense reds. So the Spider-Man playmat and apparently this Shrine playmat is something I'm just not going to be able to use anymore because and the red from the sleeves was doing it too, but I think it's mainly the bulk this thing is triggering it somehow. And I've got all kinds of different lights, trying to compensate for that, to fix it and not glare, but it just doesn't seem to be working. So play a snow-covered island for turn. I will then tap to put another counter on Grind Clock, and I will tap 2 and tap Endless Atlas to draw a card, but then I will go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Wow, that's not good. Play a mountain for turn. Tap this to draw a card. Well, that's something, I guess. I will sacrifice the 2 treasures and tap 1. No, because they cost 1 less to play Aura of Silence. Artifact and enchantment spells your opponents cast cost 2 more to cast, and I can sacrifice Aura of Silence to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Probably not going to remember that, but I'm going to have to try my best. I did play an enchantment, so I do gain a life. I can use his ability, so let's do that. 1 of each color to get an enchantment from the graveyard onto the battlefield. Actually, there's really only one choice, so we will get Eidolon of Blossoms onto the battlefield. A 2/2. Whenever Eidolon of Blossoms or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Wow, another land. Holy heck, deck. You really want me to have lands right now. But, I mean, at least we're doing stuff. So all we're going to do, though, we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. 1/2. Sacrifice the treasures, use that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Recast IEC. He won't see himself, so that won't trigger the land thing. That land was on the battlefield. I'm just going to go ahead and tap 4. Sacrifice Blighted Woodland to get 2 forests on the battlefield, which would give me 2 triggers. So 2 forests come on the battlefield tap. That means I draw 2 cards, and I gain 4 life. Now, IEC says I haven't played a land for turn at all, so I will play Rogue's Passage, drawing another card, gaining another 2 life. IEC says I can play 2 more lands, or 1 more land per turn, so I will play a forest, gaining 2 life, drawing a card. I will then tap 2 to play Emerald Medallion. Green spells cost 1 less to cast. Hey, this is now a 13/13. Now we have to swing with the 13/13, because why wouldn't we? The question being, where do we want to send it? Descent into Avernus is going to be doing a lot of damage over time. They're really kind of sputtering out. They've got some creatures, but nothing that's a threat. We don't know what's in their hand. We don't know they don't have anything to play, but they haven't really been playing much. Mill hasn't even been milling too much, so there's really no specific. We're going to swing at Imodain because they have the most life. Nobody has played any spells on anyone's turns, but we're going to go ahead and just jump block it with the Scyther Raptor. I'm not taking 13 damage. Then we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, put another 2 counters. That's 4, so now everyone gets another 4. They didn't use theirs, so they have 6. And then everyone will take 4 damage. Then I draw a card for turn. I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice all 6 treasures to play Lightning Axe. So paying Lightning Axe 1 and then the additional 5 as the extra cost to cast it deals 5 damage to target creature. We're going to do 5 damage to Bruvak. It now costs 4 more to cast because that is the second time it got blown up. However, because it connected, each opponent is going to take 5 damage. I still have 4 mana left. Well, the problem is I have a card that we saw last game to good effect, but I suppose we shouldn't sit on it forever, so we're going to tap 3 and play Repercussions again. Enchantment, whenever a creature is dealt damage, Repercussions deals that much damage to that creature's controller. I know, should have played it first, that's fine. I didn't do it on purpose because I've had that card in my hand for like the last 2 or 3 turns. It's like, I don't want to play cards that you've seen a million times before. We also don't want to drag out the games I also don't want to play the game improperly just to show you different cards. So it's walking a very interesting line. Nothing else I really want to do in terms of attacks or anything. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, play a land, going to sacrifice the 4 treasures for the commander tax, and then tap 3 to recast Bruvak. Then I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3 and play Teferi's Tutelage. This is a fun one you haven't seen yet. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card, then discard a card. I will draw and then discard this Evolving Wilds. Whenever you draw a card, target opponent mills 2 cards. You just blew up Bruvak, you're going to mill 2, which is now going to be 4. And then we're just going to keep making some draws. I'm going to sacrifice Commander Sphere to draw a card. Whenever I draw a card, someone's going to mill 2. We're going to have you mill 4. Now, I don't want to mill shrines too much because they can use their ability to get stuff out of the graveyard. We know from last game that Imodain has Mizzet's Mastery, but that's just 1 card out of the deck. It could run into it. We could get them to it faster by milling, or we could hopefully mill it. Point being, we're going to tap 2 and tap Endless Atlas to draw 1 more card and mill someone another 4. I think we're going to go ahead and mill Landfall 1 more time. I'm then going to tap Grind Clock, and target player is going to put mill 3 cards, but it's going to be doubled to 6, and now we will do that to Imodain. Nothing else I want to do. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap. Oh, wait a second. Did I cast anything? I did cast an enchantment. Hang on. Shoot. And they cost 2 more to cast. So that means I couldn't do the Endless Atlas trigger. So we're going to have to put these 4 back on top. Okay, everyone kind of knows what those are for the most part, but alright, glad I remembered that. And Repercussions costs 2 extra, which means we couldn't have played that. So that's fine, everyone knows it's in my hand, but I couldn't play it. Untap, upkeep, draw. Oh my gosh, a land. Tapping Joda's Codex to draw a card. Thankfully, it's not a land. We're going to sacrifice 3 of the 4 to play Honden of Infinite Rage. Beginning of my upkeep, Infinite Rage deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of shrines I control. A shrine came in, so I do make another shrine token. I played an enchantment, so I do gain a life, and I get to draw a card, which is very helpful. I will then use the last of the treasures, a green and one other, for a total of 3 mana, to play Enchantress's Presence. And it's enchantment. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. So I cast an enchantment, I gain a life, and I draw one off of Eidolon. It doesn't see itself, so I can't do that, of course. And you don't see me do this very often, but we're going to go ahead and tap 3 mana to cast Idyllic Tutor. Search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. I'm tempted, well, I guess I should just go get Sanctum of All again and put that into my hand. It's sort of like replaying that enchantment over there again. It's something we've seen before to positive effect at the last games, but so this goes into my hand. I do not have the mana to cast it, of course. Nothing else I want to do, so we will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Going to play a land, gain 2 life, and draw a card off of Aisi. Still not another land, but that could be helpful. So green spells cost 1 less to cast, so we will tap 3 and play Conduit of Worlds. Okay, so hang on, this is an artifact. Artifacts and enchantments cost 2 extra, so I will tap an extra 2. You may play lands from your graveyard. Do I have lands in my graveyard? I do. So my second land for turn will be a forest off of Aisi's ability. I'll draw a card and gain 2 life. I will tap 1. Actually, okay, so green spells cost 1 less to cast, so this is going to compensate for 1 of the extra 2. So it just costs 2 instead of 3 to play Exploration. You may play additional lands, or an additional land on each of your turns. I will go ahead and play an island from my graveyard, gain 2 life, draw a card. I will then tap 3 and play Azusa, Lost But Seeking. 1/2 creature that says you may play an additional 2 lands on each of your turns. You get the idea of this deck, don't you? I love it so much. I really do. It is so much fun to play because you just play it. Dude, land. But it does take forever on your turns, and I feel really guilty when playing with friends, and I played it once on Queen of Cardboard streams just recently. No one complained, but I took really long turns, and I felt bad about it. So that's why I don't play Landfall on streams, and I only play it every once in a while, because it's so much fun for me to play, but I don't like it when you have to, nobody likes to sit there for 20 minutes while someone else jerks around with their deck 50,000 times and then doesn't win the game. But regardless, I can play 2 more lands. I have 2 more islands in my graveyard that I can play, so I will play both of them, drawing 2 cards, gaining 4 life. Awesome. I will play a 0-drop spellbook, so now I have no maximum hand size. That is very fortuitous and well-timed. I'm going to tap a green and 1 other because they cost less. For Reclamation Sage, we've seen this before. Get rid of that silence thing. Then I will tap 2 mana to play Farhaven Elf. It's a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped. I will get a basic forest onto the battlefield tapped. Triggers. Gain 2 life. Draw a card. I forgot I have all these thingies. So I'm going to use 2 of them to play Territorial Scythecat. Well, gosh darn it. I also forgot some triggers, didn't I? Each of these 3 creatures I just played. No, 4, because I played Azusa. No. Did I play her this time? I'm going to say no. I think I did, but whatever. These 3 count as forests as they enter, so that's 3 more card draws and 6 more life. But anyway, I have 4 treasures and an island, so I'm using 2 of the treasures to cast Territorial Scythecat. That leaves me with 3 mana open. I will use 1 of it to play Birds of Paradise, gain 2 life, draw a card. Then I will use the last 2 mana, the treasures, or the last 1 treasure, along with this blue, to play the creature, Zimone Quandrix Prodigy. So that's another 2 life, draw a card. And you can pay 1 and tap her to put a land card from your hand on the battlefield tapped. Pay 4 and tap her to draw a card. If you control 8 or more lands, draw 2 cards instead. Heck yeah. Okay, so we're definitely going swinging. Oops, not that I can't swing the spell book. We're going to swing Ashia, a 13, way more than 13. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ashia is a 25-25, for those of you keeping score at home. And the question is, where am I swinging that? Ooh, I could swing over there, and you'd have to block or else you die. But there's no trample, so super easy to block with just a little nothing. I'm going to put the pressure Imodane because of Descent into Avernus. You can either take, and here's, you can't, you have to block, because you'll take 25 damage if you don't, and then Descent into Avernus will kick in and kill you. So you're going to have to block with Imodane. She goes back to the command zone, costs an extra 2 to cast. This just falls into the battlefield. That's all we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, 2 more counters. Everybody makes 6 treasure tokens and takes 6 damage. Draw a card for turn. Well, you know what? This just worked out. I'm going to tap a single red Blasphemous Act. I've been sitting on this for a couple turns, waiting for someone to destroy Imodane. Deals 13 damage to each creature. Oh no, that stupid Ashia is going to survive. Well, but it'll drop down a fair amount. Well, wait a second. Let's see what we got. There's nothing this character can do. Nothing this character can do. We have counterspells in hand over here, but no open mana. That's why I don't like counterspells, because if you play the game, you don't have open mana for the counters when you need them. And if you save your mana to play counterspells, you're not playing anything else, you're wide open. Okay, so this gets used. Or no, it doesn't. It's just there. Yeah, so boom. Blasphemous Act destroys every creature. Well, almost every creature. 13 damage to every creature. These are all destroyed. That goes into the command zone. 2 more to cast. That's destroyed. This is now a 16/16. Certainly nothing to sneeze at, but not what it was. That gets destroyed. Poor Bruvak now costs 6 more to cast. However, we do have 6 treasures thanks to Descent into Avernus. And I think that's the first time Imodane's been destroyed. Like I said, it was 2, so 4, 5, 6. We'll sacrifice all 6 treasures. Boom, recast Imodane. Tap 1, re-equip the Swiftfoot Boots. Hey, she's got haste now. You're tapped down, and you did come swinging at me, but if you'll just come at me with a 16/16. So we're going to have to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. All right, I have 6 treasures. I'm going to sacrifice 6 treasures for the commander tax, and then just tap 1, 2, 3, and play Bruvak again. I'm going to tap 2 and play Painter's Servant. So 1, 3. As Painter's Servant comes into play, choose a color. I'm going to choose blue. All cards that aren't in play, spells and permanents, are the chosen color in addition to their other colors. And that's for the entire table. So that means every single spell and permanent. Right, so everything that's not in play. So everything in the libraries and hands are now blue in addition to their other types. The reason, because there's the spells in here that are like, hey, mill 2 cards, and if they share a color, do it again. So it just, now that every card is blue, you can say, well, I just milled your entire library, you lose. Tap to make somebody mill 6. Oh, I drew a card, and someone gets to mill 4. I think we got to go with you, so why don't we just mill all 10 for you? Okay, some big hits in there. Now, I guess that might not be the best answer. I guess I should go for Landfall, because now they have the most life, but they just, Imodane just took care of their board state. They'll be able to build it back up again pretty quick, but going to go ahead and tap 2, tap to draw a card, and now we will mill Landfall for 4. That's all we can do, though. We're going to get... Actually, it's not. We're going to tap 1 and play the Elixir of Immortality we just drew. Pass turn. Untap over here. Upkeep. At the beginning of my upkeep, I do have a trigger. Infinite Rage deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of shrines I control. I only control 1 shrine right now, so I'm going to deal 1 damage to you, just because. Then I draw a card for turn. Ooh, this is bad. But it's good. I like it. We're definitely going to do it. If I do that, I can't play Sanctum of All, but I think it's probably the best play. First things first, we're going to tap 4, and then tap Soul Ring for the commander tax to recast Goshintai, and we get a shrine token. Next, I'm going to tap... I did play an enchantment, so I get to draw a card. Then I will tap 2, a white and 1 other, to play the enchantment Rest in Peace. When a Rest in Peace enters the battlefield, exile all graveyard. Those counterspells can't be used right now. Sorry, guys. So now, no getting lands out of your graveyard, no casting any kind of spells from your graveyard if you have that, and no Mizzet's Mastery. Simply, well, I mean, if you get it, and they mill more. But that is a huge, huge win over there for that, I think. I think that's the right time to use it. Definitely against a mill deck, it helps. If a card or token would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exiled instead. So there will be no more graveyards. So that really helps, neuter those two in the sense of like a magic comeback. That is also an enchantment, so I draw a card. I didn't play a land for turn, did I? Shoot, now I don't remember. I was so excited when I drew that. It always happens. I get a good card draw and I forget if I did my first step, play a land. I don't think I did. I'm going to play a swamp for turn, go down to 7 cards in hand, pass turn. Untap all this craziness over here. I have 6 treasures. Did everyone take the 6 damage? Did I not do that, or did I do? I thought I did it. 6 mana, and then Soul Ring to recast IEC of the Gyre Straits. It counts as a... Well, it doesn't see itself, so I will now play an island for turn, drawing a card. This is a really fun 0-drop I just drew. I'm going to play it. Zran Orb. Sacrifice a land, you gain 2 life. In a deck that has a bajillion lands, this is a great way to come back with life gain. I will then play another island for the IEC second land for turn, drawing a card. I can play 1 more land off of Exploration. I will play Jungle Basin. I have to bounce an untapped forest back to my hand, but I get to draw a card. I will tap 2. Well, green spells cost 1 less, so I will just tap Command Tower for green. Summer Bloom. You may play up to 3 additional lands this turn. How does that word it again? If a card or token would... Okay. So that's everything. So I could play 3 more lands, but let's go 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3 because it costs 1 less. 6 total to play Cultivator Colossus again. Power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control, and this one does have trample. And when it enters, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you do, draw a card and repeat this process. So I'm going to play a land from my hand, draw a card, and then repeat this process. This is actually part of a combo that I do have the other piece in my hand, but it would have needed to be out first. I screwed it up, and that's fine. I think I can just put another land and draw a card. I don't think it just keeps going, right? When it enters the battlefield, you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield tapped. Oh, tapped. If you do, draw a card and repeat this process. So that is this one, and I drew a card. But if you put a land from your hand on the battlefield, repeat the process. So I'm going to put a Fabled Passage onto the battlefield tapped. I will draw a card. It's a land. I can put a land from my hand on the battlefield, draw a card. It's a land. I can put it, draw a card. Hits that, bounce this to my hand, draw a card, put it, right? Am I doing this wrong? And draw a card, and I can put this one from my hand on the battlefield and draw a card, and it's not a land, so it stops. And I have no lands in hand. Okay, so that was pretty crazy, but there's a way to do it with this card Abundance, where you choose what you're going, every time you would draw a card, instead you pick land or non-land and draw until you flip cards until you get to that. So using Abundance, you can literally pull every single card out of your deck onto the battlefield. However, that was still wrong because I have an AC out, so every time one of those lands came in, I should have also drawn another card. But by doing that, it would have screwed up. I mean, I still would have drawn all those cards and had them in my hand and been able to continue. So I would have drawn like another 3 or 4 cards. Right, so it's play a land and draw a card. But because the land came in, I would draw another card. Then I can repeat the process. Play, draw 2. That's what it should have been. It should have been play a land, draw 2. I'm going to not do it simply because I screwed it up. It's my bad. And it's a little weird, and I don't 100% know. Logically speaking, if I'm drawing 2 cards instead of 1, there's no way I would have not had the lands to play every single time I did it, as I just did. And in fact, I might even be able to keep going if I had drawn the extra 4 or 3 cards, whatever. But I think that's good enough for right now. It's just another lesson learned. You really got to stop being excited for cards. You know? That's what it is. I got excited for Cultivator Colossus. It's a big, giant creature with trample, and I get to play a bunch of lands off of it, and I was totally missing the rest of my landfall. Thankfully, all the other cards got destroyed, because you imagine if I'd missed all those other triggers, your friends are only going to be so nice about saying, yeah, go ahead and take your triggers back. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to tap 3 to play Decanter Vince Water. I will tap 2 to play Lightning Greaves, Haste, and Shroud. Ooh, I'm going to put that on you. Oh, yeah. Nobody has any open mana to stop. No counter spells. Well, they don't have the right colors for that Swords to Plowshare in hand, so yeah. I still have 4 mana. Tap a blue for a Rune Crab, although that's going to help the mill. Tap a green for... Oh, so the creature's coming in. That means I'm drawing cards. Draw 2 cards. Defender, when a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. So I still have 2 mana left. I'm going to tap that 2 mana for this Thought Vessel. Lots of no maximum hand size, which is awesome. Let's take a look at this. This is insane. Get this, chat, as we call it. Cultivator Colossus is a 26/26 with trample and haste. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So Ashya is a 31/31. No trample, though. Easily chump blocked. Actually, because everything is a land when it enters, creatures rather, Rune Crab would have triggered. Each opponent would mill 3 cards, which means each opponent would mill 6 cards, but not everybody. So 1, 2, there's Mizzet's Mastery. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But Bruvak would only mill 3, because he's not going to extra mill himself, because he doesn't count himself as an opponent, obviously. Alright, 26. It's 22. That is just shy of killing you. Holy crap. But Descent to Inverness will anyway. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and swing Cultivator Colossus at you and Ashya. I don't know why I cannot say her name right. At you. Even if you block, which you will, those will fall off. Imodane will die. Cost 4 more to cast. And you're going to... 26 minus 4, you're going to take 22 damage. You're just going to block with the Painter's Servant, but nothing else happens. I could sacrifice a land and gain some life. That'd be the ultimate jerk move, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to swing and kill you. In response to, damage being dealt, I'm going to sacrifice all my lands and gain a billion life just to make the numbers look cooler. But we're going to go ahead and pass turn, untap, upkeep trigger. It's going to get 2 more counters. Everyone's going to take 8 damage, and then get 8 things, but you are the duns. See, Descent into Avernus, man. Fun card, can backfire if you're getting smacked, but still. Untap over here, upkeep, draw for turn, because I drew. Someone's going to mill 4 cards. It's going to be you. Gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to play Thassa's Bounty. Draw 3 cards. Target player puts the top 3 cards of their library into the graveyard. So you're gonna mill 6, and then I'm just gonna direct it all at you. So I'm gonna draw 3. 1, 2, 3. So for every draw, someone's going to mill 2, which is 4. So 4 times 3 is 12, and then another 6, so 18. You're going to mill 18 cards. All of these get exiled. Crazy. Rest in peace indeed. I'm going to tap 2 for an Arcane Signet. I'm going to go ahead and tap this to, but that is not 3. That's not 12. Going to mill you for 6 more. Okay, they are getting very, very low. So a couple more mill spells would have worked and taken them out. But regrettably, that's all we can do right now. The only thing we can do is we have enough mana. I'm not going to remember it, but I got to try to remember it. To tap down your Trampoly Cultivator Colossus when you untap. Going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap, upkeep trigger. 1, 2, 3, 3 damage. I'm kind of tempted to send 3 damage to you, but no, we're going to send it to you. 1, 2, 3. It just makes sense. Draw a card for turn. Oh, I do have, look at that. I have 3 black. 3 black to play Underworld Dreams. I played an enchantment, so I draw a card. I'm going to play a land for turn. It's a green. I will tap it to play Utopia Sprawl on this forest, because it's Enchant Forest. Choosing a color, it taps. When it taps for mana, it adds an additional 1 of that color. I'll choose white, I guess. No, actually, I will choose black, because then I can tap this for black, green, and 1 other to play Tainted Remedy. Oh, if an opponent would gain my life, they lose that much life. I played enchantment, I draw a card. Yep. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Honden of Life's Webs. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token on the battlefield for each shrine you control. I played an enchantment, I draw a card. I only have 1 thing, but I can tap this to draw another card just to try and get ready if I have a chance. I only have 1 life, 1 mana left to give. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. Untap this giant stack of mana and tap these giant creatures. Draw a card. Tap a green and a blue to play Growth Spiral. Draw a card. Put a land from your hand on the battlefield. Okay. It's Terramorphic Expanse. So I draw a card. Yeah, unfortunately, I really can't play any of these things. I do gain a life off of that. You're going to mill 3 cards. But yeah, that's really all we can do. These just went up because I played a land. I don't have any creatures to play. I'll go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4 and play a Thran Dynamo just to get some stuff out of my hand. Not that it matters. I'm going to go ahead and tap 4 and play Leyline Weaver. So I gain a life. You're going to mill another 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to draw a card. We got to be careful. Can't keep drawing cards. I got 2, 3, 4 left. But I will play a Forest for turn. So I gain another life. You're going to mill another 3, and then I'm going to draw a card. But that's it. We got to be careful. We're not going to be stupid about it. We're going to move to combat. However, we're going to tap these to tap down the Trampoly one, obviously. But it doesn't matter, because what we're going to do then is just swing everything else at you. So a 5/5, a 2/2, and a 32/32. Guess what? You block the 32/32 with your commander, you still take 7 damage. You are the Dunzo. Kabosh. Pass turn. I may be moving a little too quickly here at the end, but I believe that should be proper. Now we're going to untap up here. Oh, shoot. Well, no. Wait, did we just play Underworld Dreams? Yes, we just played Underworld Dreams, so all the cards that they drew didn't count for that. However, the cards you drew should have. So I think 4. I think you drew, and then like for turn. So there. Okay. You didn't gain any life, because that would have hurt you. So we're going to untap over here, upkeep, 1, 2, 3. So you're going to take 3 damage, and I'm going to make 3 colorless spirit tokens. Okay, unfortunately, they don't fly, but there's something. Although, all they have to do is untap and swing over there. So oh, no, we don't. Tap the plains, Swords to Plowshare on your ridiculous guy. These just fall off. It's a 0 equip. You could equip them onto your commander at that point. Instant speed. So good, okay. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, you would have lost an extra 1 from the shrines. I'm going to go ahead and tap this to draw a card. And I actually did not draw for turn. Or did I? I don't remember if that was in my hand or not. Unfortunately, we only have the 1 plains. So now I can't even play Sanctum of All. And we chose this to be black because we needed it to get the Tainted Remedy out. But, hang on. Soul Ring and a Forest. To play Grafted Growth, we're going to enchant this swamp. There's not enough room on the battlefield. When Grafted Growth enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Enchanted land has tap, add 2 mana of any 1 color. Perfect. 2 white, a black, a red. Actually, we can just do this because that's green and black, blue, red, 2 white with 1 floating white. Boom, Sanctum of All. Get an extra shrine counter, or shrine token. I'm going to go ahead and tap 2 for Lightning Greaves and move to equip them on the Goshintai as well, just so that we have some extra stuff there. I need to slow down because I played an enchantment, right? I enchanted this, and then I played that. So I'm going to draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Yep, there's the planes I assumed I was going to get. Amusing. So now at my upkeep, I can go get a different kind of shrine, something better, but I don't think it's going to matter. Well, we got rid of the Trampley, so that's something. 2 open mana, nothing I can do with that, especially since they're both same color. I'm going to go ahead and pass. I don't think I missed anything there. I don't know. We're going to untap this massive mound of lands. It's hilarious. Love it. Untap these. There are no upkeep triggers. We're going to draw a card. Now we're almost out of card draw. Well, that's true. If we play a land, we have to draw a card. Yeah, we only have 2. So all they have to do is actually wait us out. Holy crap, that's hilarious. And I unfortunately do not have any kind of creatures, anything. Everything in my hand basically just gets me lands and draws me cards. I don't have a graveyard, so I can't play anything from there. That's unfortunate. Obviously, I'm going to swing both of these at you. I have to move. I got 2 turns left. Well, 3 turns. Because if I go to draw from my library and don't have the cards, I lose the game. So you've got 30-something coming at you. It's not going to matter if you let it through because you have to, but I'm just going to block with one of these little guys. Boom. And then you've got a 5/5 that also does not have trample, so I just block with one of these guys. Boom. Now you are not open. You've got 3 creatures to block with over here. A 0/3, a 0/3, and a 2/2. But we're still not open, so we'll pass. Now it's just a waiting game. Now Shrines is just like, you know what, I'm just going to wait you out, jerk. Okay, so untap, upkeep trigger. Beginning of my unkeep. Everything's the beginning, so I can technically stack it. So I'm going to do Sanctum of All first, and I'm going to put Goshintai of Ancient Wars on the battlefield. You may search your library and graveyard for a shrine card, put it on the battlefield. If you search your library this way, shuffle it, and then whenever a shrine enters the battlefield, so that goes up. As long as you have, yeah, this looks like Shrines is going to win it again. Because as long as you have 6 or more shrines, a shrine ability is triggered twice. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Everything's going to trigger twice now. So now we move to the rest of our upkeep. Upkeep, we're going to put a 1/1 spirit for each shrine, which we just said was 8. So now I'm going to go up to 9 spirits. And then deals target damage to target creature or player equal to the number of shrines you control. So you're going to take 8 damage. But I just said that doubles. So we're actually going to be 17 spirits and then another 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. And then all we got to do now, all this stuff did not untap yet. So I don't even have to play anything or draw anything. I'll draw a card, play the planes just to give it a little bit of extra stuff there. Tap these and tap these for the really really cool looking Thran Dynamo. And then move all the way through my steps. Boom, 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 don't care. Move to my end step. I will pay 1. Goshintai of Ancient Wars deals X damage to target player. Planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. That's going to trigger twice. You're going to take another 16 damage. Boom, -8. Kaboosh. Oh, Landfall almost got there. If you weren't against a mill deck, you probably would have done much better and won, but there you go. Shrines is your winner. I think that was a pretty fun game. Again, I keep saying it. I had fun playing these decks this time around because this particular matchup was really interesting back and forth with and some interactions. That was fun for me to play it. I hope you had fun watching it. I hope you saw some cool cards. I hope you learned from my mistakes and get better at both deck building and playing Magic yourself. Let me know in the comments if you've learned a couple things and won a game because, oh, Brian, I saw you mess this thing up, so I learned from it and I won this game against my friends. I'd love to hear that kind of stuff. But thanks a lot for watching, checking out the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.